Hi, I'm Dr. Ross Greene. I spoke tonight at the Glenbard Parent Series. Some of the things I covered were the lenses that you're wearing when you are understanding a kid who's having difficulty are crucial. And I distinguish between lenses called kids do all if they can versus kids do all if they wanna. If you believe a kid isn't doing well because he doesn't wanna, then you're gonna try to make him wanna. But if you believe a kid isn't doing well because he's having difficulty doing well, then you're going to take a much closer look at what might be getting in the kid's way. It's not poor motivation that's getting in the kid's way. Probably not even poor parenting that's getting in the kid's way. What the research tells us about kids who are having difficulty behaving is that they're lacking skills. And so one of the things we really want to make sure people know about are the skills the research tells us behaviorally challenging kids could be lacking. And we want to make sure that parents and educators are good at identifying those lagging skills. The other thing we talked about is how challenging behavior tends to occur when kids are having difficulty meeting certain expectations. I call those unmet expectations, but the preferred term is unsolved problems, also known, as I said tonight, problems that have yet to be solved. Also known as problems that are waiting to be solved. So another crucial piece of the picture is helping adults learn, number one, that's when challenging behaviors are occurring, when the expectations that are being placed upon a kid outstrip the skills that the kid has to respond adaptively to those expectations. But the other big deal is we want to make sure that we identify those unsolved problems, memorialize them, make our list, so that we know the mountain that lies before us and so that we can prioritize and get busy about the task of solving problems. This is very different than modifying behavior. Now, when you're solving problems collaboratively and preferably proactively, you are actually improving behavior every bit as much as you would have if you were only busy modifying behavior. The problem is that when you're busy modifying behavior, you aren't solving any of the problems that are causing that behavior. Why is this a big deal? Well, in a state like Illinois, restraint and seclusion have been in the news lately. Restraint and seclusion occur very late in the game. The behaviors that are causing us to think that the kid is becoming escalated, and when we are having difficulty de-escalating the kid, we use restraint and seclusion. Those behaviors are late too. We don't want to be late. We want to be early. What's early? The expectations the kid is having difficulty meeting in the first place. So it really moves the ball forward, not just at home, not just in a general ed classroom, but in our most vulnerable kids, to identify those expectations that the kid is having difficulty meeting and to solve those problems proactively. Now we're being early rather than late. And if we get really good at being early, we will almost never find ourselves being late. In homes, you don't want to solve problems in the heat of the moment. Your kid's been having difficulty brushing his or her teeth before he or she has gone to bed at night for the last 5 years. Why are we still trying to deal with that in the heat of the moment? And why are we still primarily focused on the behavior the kid's exhibiting when we try to make the kid brush his or her teeth before he or she goes to bed at night? So the other big thing that I talked about tonight is how do you solve problems collaboratively? And there are 3 steps: the empathy step, the define adult concern step, and the invitation step. The empathy step is where we are gathering information from the child about what's making it hard for the child to meet a particular expectation. The main adult activity in the empathy step is listening and asking good questions that prove that we have been listening. I think that listening is the purest form of empathy. You can say, "Oh, that must be very hard for you," till the cows come home. The purest form of empathy is listening. And that's what we're doing in the empathy step. We are trying to understand. We are curious. The empathy step is where we learn that what we thought was making it hard for the kid to meet a particular expectation is not what was making it hard for the kid to meet a particular expectation. The define adult concern step is where we adults are entering our concerns into consideration. We have very important concerns too, especially related to why do we think it's important that the expectation be met? And the invitation is where, after we've listened to the kid and identified the kid's concerns, and the kid has listened to us and our concerns, we are putting our heads together and trying to come up with a solution that works for both of us. This is very different than sending your kid to bed without dinner. This is very different than taking away the Xbox for a month. This is very different, but it's an idea whose time has come because we've been overcorrecting, over-directing, and over-punishing behaviorally challenging kids for a very long time, and it's time for us to stop doing that because it hasn't been working very well.